That palette is one of my favorite project pans to do here on my YouTube channel. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it takes a hell of a long time, but at the end of it, you really see the progress that you have made, and that just makes me so unbelievably happy. So this year, I am panning 2 eyeshadow palettes. So I am panning my Modern Renaissance, which is a rollover from last year. I've been panning this for a year and a half now. Craziness, it's just crazy. I mean, it looks beaten and bruised. It looks disgusting, but she is clinging on for dear life. Hopefully she will be done sometime this year. And I'm also panning a singles palette. Now, I'm not going to show you too much because obviously it is a clear palette. You can see some of the progress. I'm going to be going through both of these today. I'm going to be showing you what they both look like last month, what they look like this month. I'm going to be sharing all the times that I've used them, the weights, and some looks that I have done with these palettes. I love this video so much. I get to really deep dive into my 2 babies. They honestly feel like it because I've just been working on them for so long. I know a hell of a lot of other project panners also do this project, so definitely go and check them out as well. They all do incredible things in a year with their palettes. But just before we do jump into the video, if you have not already, like and subscribe. I upload every single day here on my YouTube channel, and I am trying to hit 5k subscribers by the end of the year. I've just hit 4k and I'm still on cloud 9. I'm unbelievably grateful. But if you like bright, fun, colorful makeup and project panning and get ready with me, then definitely join our little family here because that is what I love doing, and I know you guys love it as well. So let's jump in to this update, and of course I'm going to start with my firstborn child, my Modern Renaissance palette. So as I said, I have been panning this since the start of 2023, which seems like eons ago. It seems like back in the Stone Age, back when dinosaurs were roaming the planet. And it's taking a while. It really is taking a while, and I'm getting a little bit nervous, to be honest. So this is what this palette looked like last month. You could see we only had 4 shades left in the whole palette. I have done amazingly with this eyeshadow palette over the past year and a half. I finished most of the shades that are empty in this palette. It has taken me a hell of a long time, but it is so worth it to see this progress. And my goal this month was to focus on Bon Fresco. It was really, really shallow in the pan, and I really thought I could make amazing progress on that shade. And this is what it looks like today. You can see Bon Fresco especially is very, very different. I'm so unbelievably proud of this progress. I feel like the other shades have also expanded pans a little bit. Red Ochre for sure has definitely expanded further down. So I'm really happy with this progress. However, I feel like I want to do more. Look at this. This is a year and a half of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, let me tell you that. But finally, I feel like we are coming to the end of this, but I just feel like every month I come on camera and I don't have the progress that I want to have. I've said in multiple videos leading up to this that I feel like my eyeshadow panning has just not been good over the past few months, and I've really taken the step back to really analyze why, and I just think I'm panning way too many eyeshadows, and there is going to be a massive change at the end of this video, so definitely stick around for that. I'm going to be really mixing up this project pan, and I think it's going to be for the better. But this is the palette. I think we've done really well, to be honest, considering Bon Fresco, that's going to be gone next month. That is like my goal. I normally say my goals after, but straight away, Bon Fresco, you are gone in the next month. I'm doing anything. I'm doing anything and everything. You are going to be gone, and I'm really excited. I am really excited. So let's go through the uses for this palette. So let's start, of course, with Bon Fresco. This pan is just huge. I probably will end up repressing this at some point. I'm going to be doing a big repressing video in a few videos time, so definitely stick around for that. I'm going to be repressing some of this palette and also my other bits and bobs that need repressing in my collection. So Bon Fresco I have used 13 times this month for a total of 76 uses. in the past year and a half. It's been a lot. It's been a long time coming, and it is so thin in this pan. It is ridiculous. I have been trying to hit side pan, or bottom pan, I should say, but this little bit of product is just so difficult to get to. I like to use Balm Fresco as a last transition shade, so that means I'm using a pretty fluffy brush with it, and to get right down here with a big fluffy brush is difficult, so that's definitely one of the reasons why I want to repress this very, very soon. And I think having repressed it, it's going to be slightly fluffier in the pan, which means I can get a lot more progress on it. So yeah, this time next month, Balm Fresco is going to be done. It's been my focus shade for quite a while now, and I'm determined. I am determined to have this done. So next, let's move on to Love Letter, which is more of this like fuchsia-y pink. I think this shade is definitely shallower in this pan, and I think the pan might have expanded a little bit, not like too crazy, but a little bit. This is definitely my least favorite shade in the palette. I'm not a fan of bright pinks. I have been working on Balm Fresco, and I've really liked that because it's more of like a grungy pink, but there's no escaping. This is a girly girl Barbie pink, and that is not my vibe, so I've definitely struggled using this. I've used this 6 times this month for a total of 90 uses in the project. That is absolute craziness. It is still going. I think we've got a good few months left on this. It's just, it won't go. It won't go. I'm trying so hard, but it's staying in, and we're gonna just plow through. So Red Ochre, I feel like this is the shade with the most amount of product left. However, I have been using it combined with Balm Fresco quite a lot. I feel like it just adds a bit of a smoky red tint to a look. It's really, really nice. I do really like this. It is part of one of my work looks, so I'm very happy about that. I've used this 9 times this month for a total of 89 uses in the project over the past year and a half. We're getting into the big numbers. We're getting into the seriously, like, wow numbers. And it makes me, like, really, it does make me smile to see that this palette has been used so much. But I mean, on the other hand, it is like, come on, we're nearing 100 uses, like chop chop, you know? And finally, Realgar, which is this bright orange matte shade here. I have used this 7 times this month for a total of, are you ready? 113 uses in the project. That is craziness. That is madness. Why are you still here? With all due respect, like, why are you still here? So I have been doing my blush trick quite a lot this month as well. So I get a big fluffy blush brush and I just tap in to all 4 of these shades, and all 4 of these shades mixed together make a really, really nice blush shade. I'm not wearing it today. I'm wearing the brighter blush in my Pan That Face palette today. But I have been doing that a lot, and I think that that is the reason that a lot of the product in these pans is quite shallow. Because I'm using such a fluffy face brush, it's just wearing it down, like, depth-wise instead of, like, pan expansion-wise. I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm gonna keep plowing through, and hopefully that, in conjunction with using them as eyeshadows, is going to just make this palette fly by. I've been saying that so many times. I feel like this palette is going so slowly. But also, like, am I ready to let this go? I don't know. So weights. This has annoyed me because visually this progress is really, really good. However, apparently we have lost 0 grams of weight on this. It's so frustrating. I know a lot of project panners have this issue. Sometimes scales just have a hissy fit and just lie to you. So last month we weighed 178 grams exactly, and this month we weigh 178 grams exactly, which means we lost nothing, apparently, which is a big fat lie because we can see we've definitely lost some weight on this, but who knows? Who knows? It's just one of them. It's one of the great mysteries of the world. Where is this weight gone? So I'm going to talk about some looks that I have done with this palette. The first one is the look that I'm wearing today. Now I do have some very, very cheap eye tape on. So I do have a big bit of patchiness of glitter on my eyes. ignore it. I'm getting some better ones, trust me. Just pretend you do not see, okay, for now. So I did put some tape on my eyes. I started with a black eyeshadow, which of course is not in this palette. I blended that black out with red ochre, which is this deep red shade. And then I blended red ochre out with Bon Fresco. I really like blending red ochre out with Bon Fresco because it's not like red, but it's kind of like this grungy, like, is it red, is it pink? It's really nice. It's not something that I see every day, and I think it's very unique to this palette. I really, really do enjoy the kind of shade mush that makes, and it's very me. I do like it. It's kind of cool, kind of smoky. This is the next look that I made, and this actually is in combination with my Pan That palette in order. So if you saw that update, you will know that I have recently rolled in a pink shimmer and a purple shimmer, and they go so well with the shades left in here. So I put Bon Fresco all over the lid, all around the lower lash line, just smoked it out. Then I put that purple on the outer corner. I put the pink on the lid, and this look has been so good. I also put Ice Dream from Colourpop, which is like a pink to blue super shock over this look as well, just to give it some something something. And my beautiful co-worker did actually compliment me on this look, so who knows, maybe I'm going to be doing this a hell of a lot more. I'm very, very glad that I've got two shades in my Pan That palette in order that go so well with this. I think it's going to make it so much easier to get use on both this and that palette, so very, very happy about that. And I think this look is cute. I'm not a pink girl, but this is like, it's not in your face bright pink, and that's what I like. So a kind of similar look is this look. So again, I have Bon Fresco all around the crease and all on the lower lash line. But on the outer corner, I actually put Sleeper from the It's My Pleasure palette. I have the biggest pan in that shade. It is ridiculous, but that is not in a project pan. It's just gonna be a casual use shade. So I'm hoping to do this look a few more times, just because Sleeper is like, it's like this close to having pan on it, and if I can just have a natural pan, that would be great. I am trying to hit more pans, whether they are in project pans or not, so this is definitely one of those looks I'm probably going to recreate quite a lot. And the same as the last look, I did put that purple and that pink from my Pan That palette in order on the lids, just to blend everything together a little bit. And I also put the shade Heartbreaker from the Pastel Roses, which is one of these super glittery, beautiful shimmery shades like I'm wearing today, all over the lid, just to give it that extra little something something, you know? So the last look that I'm going to talk about with this palette is this. So this is one of my more creative looks. I sat down, took the time to be really creative with this look, and I use the shades Red Ochre and Realgar for this look. I did start with a black and then put Red Ochre, then blended that out with Realgar, and then I blended that out with Keen from the Carnival XL Pro palette, which is like a bright yellow, just to give it, you know, some life, some brightness. I really, really loved this look. Sitting down, taking the time to be creative is just something that I love, and so this look was just perfect for that. I get a kick out of being creative. I get a kick out of doing just crazy looks. I just love sitting down, being creative, taking that time for myself. It's like my mental health time, and this is perfect. I love blue and warm tones together, like blue and neutral. Sign me up. I absolutely love them. So that is it for Modern Renaissance. What do you think? Do you think Bon Fresco will be done next month? I really, really hope so. But with that being said, let's move on to my singles palette. So this was originally my Soph X Revolution palette, or what was left of it. I did pan the Soph X Revolution palette back in like 2019, something like that. And I got really, really good progress on it. So I depotted all those shades, put them in a singles palette, and made it my Pan That palette for this year. However, in about February, I just got so bored with it. And I mean, if you're already bored of a Pan That palette 2 months into the year, something's wrong. So I decided to just scrap the Soph X Revolution palette and put a bunch of singles together to use as my Pan That palette this year. So this is what the palette looked like last month. You could see we had just finished the second shade. So we had a finished shade in this palette, which is amazing, but the rest of the palette wasn't really that used. A lot of the shades already had pan in them when I rolled them into the project, and this palette as a whole had just been neglected a hell of a lot. We're 6 months into the year. We should have a lot more progress on this, but I mean, it's one of those. This is what the palette looks like today. Hopefully you can see we have actually hit a new pan in the shade Sunlight, which is the third shade on the second row. And we've also expanded the pan of the shade next to it, which is Cup of Tea. But I think other than that, we've not really made much progress, and I've made some decisions about this palette and I'm going to talk to you about them in a sec. So here we go. This is the palette. It does look good. It looks used and I'm happy with how it looks. However, I just think that this is taking away more than it's giving. And I think I was a little bit too, I don't know what the word is. I was too eager to roll in another palette to pan, and I think I just feel a little bit overwhelmed. So I'm going to go through the uses the same as I did with the Modern Renaissance, but you'll definitely see a theme in this palette that I'm just not reaching for it. So the shade Ranch is an exception to that rule because it's just a really nice inner corner highlight. I used this 7 times this month for a total of 25 uses in the project, but still 25 uses in 6 months. Not the best. It's really not the best at all. And yeah, there's a theme. Let's just say that. Pug was already finished last month, so I'm going to skip over that. The shade Vixen, I have not used for a total of 3 uses. The shade Prowl, I have not used for a total of 1 use because I am working on a very similar shade in a different project pan. And to be honest, where is it? It's here. I thought this shade was going to be done months ago, but it's still clinging on. So while this is still clinging on to dear life, I'm not really wanting to work on this because I'm so determined to get this done. I mean, you can see it is it's pretty much done already, but I'm just not going to be working on this while that one is still going. I have the shade Rose Quartz. I have not used for a total of 5 uses. The shade Tiger's Eye, I have not used for a total of 1 use. The shade Sunlight, I have used 4 times this month for a total of 7 uses in the project. This did already have a pretty big dip in it when I rolled it in, and I'm very happy that it has had pan on it. It's a really beautiful shade. It's one of those yellow to green duochromes. Really, really stunning. So I'm very happy about that. That's a good positive from this video. The shade Cup of Tea, I have used this 3 times for a total of 13 uses in the project. I do feel like this shade does clash with Realgar from the Modern Renaissance, so I've just not wanted to use it because I'm so hyper-focused on Modern Renaissance. I feel like Modern Renaissance has definitely taken the spotlight this year. It's what I want to finish. I do not want to go into the 2 years panning this. I want this to be done this year. So this has definitely kind of taken the limelight and this has definitely been pushed to the side. We have the shade Pink Champagne. I've used this 6 times this month for a total of 41 uses in the project, which I think that one's pretty good. I am wearing this today on the inner corner. It's gone really, really well with some of the shades in the Modern Renaissance, the more pinky shades. So that's definitely something that's good. That's definitely a positive. And I think the pan has expanded a little bit in this as well. Next, I have the shade What's the Tea? I've used this 1 time this month for a total of 2 uses in the project. I have the shade Pine Tree. I have not used this at all this month for a total of 5 uses in the project. And the shade Nightmare, this black, I have used this 3 times this month for 51 uses in the project. These uses are not good. I know they're not. They're like very casual uses. This doesn't scream pan that palette to me. To me, a pan that palette is something that you're really passionate about, you really want to use up, you're using it basically every day, and the amount of shades that have just not been used this month is crazy. It just doesn't scream pan that palette. So let's talk about weights. Funnily enough, this has lost a lot more weight than the Modern Renaissance, so I don't really know how, to be honest, but I think my scales have had a little bit of a fit this month, and I just don't think they know what they're talking about. So last month, this palette weighed 144.14 grams, and this month it apparently weighs 142.45 grams, meaning we have supposedly lost 1.69 grams. Which is a lot. Considering I've used most of these shades 0 times, I'm struggling to believe that, but I mean, whatever, you know, whatever. So some of the looks, again, I have done with this palette. I have used some of these shades in pretty nice looks. So this look is back again. I have used the shade What's the Tea on the inner corner of this, and I also did use Sunlight all over the lid. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see the like beautifulness of this shade. It is truly stunning, and I am absolutely obsessed with this shade, but in this project, it's just hard to use it because it's not only this project pan that I'm stressed about. I have so many other eyeshadow project pans that it's getting a lot. It's getting really hard to try and balance everything, and that's another massive reason that this just has not been used. And then there's just one more look that I want to share with this palette. So that is this look. It's a really nice halo eye that I did, and I actually really loved this look. And this look made me question the decision that I'm about to make because I really did love it. So I used this dark brown shade on the outer and inner corners. Then I blended that out with Cup of Tea, which is this orangey shade here. I put Sunlight all in the middle of the lid. It looked stunning. It looked beautiful. It was so shimmery, so gorgeous. And then I did end up putting Ranch on the inner corner. So I used a fair few shades from this palette. I was very, very happy about that. And I just loved this look so much. And it made me really want to keep working on this palette. But I feel like this palette's time has come to an end. I feel like I'm really struggling to use this palette and the Modern Renaissance and my Pan That Palette in order and my Project Level Up and my Pan Those Eyeshadows. It's way too much. So this palette is going to be put away. I can't believe I'm saying this. I am actually really heartbroken because I do love this palette. It's just like I'm not using it at all, and it's putting so much more stress on myself, and I need to give something up, and I think it's going to be this palette. I'm really happy with the progress that I have made in this, and hopefully I will be able to use some of these shades up. Maybe I'll roll them into project pans, other project pans, something like that, but individual shades rather than the whole palette. And who knows, maybe next year's Pan That Palette will have like a little companion palette with it or something like that. And maybe some of these shades will be in that, but for right now, this does not spark joy. This does not spark like enthusiasm. I don't think I've been like really motivated to use this palette since like March. It's just one of them. I sit down to film this project and I take this palette out and it just makes me sad because I'm just not using it. How many shades have I just not used this month? How many shades have been used less than 5 times in 6 months? It's ridiculous. So the numbers speak for themselves. I'm not using this palette. However, I do have a little bit of a plan. I am going to be rolling in another palette. However, it's not going to be a Pan That palette. It is more going to be a companion palette for this palette. And I feel like with my companion palettes, this is what I'm going to do from now on. Every month, I'm going to roll in a new palette just as a companion. I don't have to have any goals on it. I don't have to hit pan on anything. It's just a palette that I think will help me pan shades in my Modern Renaissance quicker and shades that go together really well with the Modern Renaissance. And this is just going to be my primary focus going forward now. So going back to the Modern Renaissance, I did say that I wanted to have Bonfresco done by this time next month. I was going to say this time next year. definitely by this time next year. But Bon Fresco is definitely going to be my absolute focus, and I would like to focus a little bit on Love Letter as well, which is this more fuchsia pink. So the companion palette that I have decided to roll in this month is the Colourpop Making Mauves palette. I feel like these are going to go so well together. They're going to complement each other absolutely beautifully. Look at these shades. I've got some beautiful shimmers that I can play around with. I've got some really beautiful deepening up shades. I probably won't be using like this shade very much because it is very, very similar to Bon Fresco here. So there are some shades that I probably won't be using just because they do clash a little bit. But this overall color story just makes me excited. It makes me want to use it. It's a palette that's been neglected so much in my collection. And I did say before in a different video, I really don't like the fact that a lot of my palettes are neglected. So I feel like this little companion palette, like 1 month per palette, is gonna let me use some of the palettes that I've just not been using over the past however many years. Like, honestly, I can't remember the last time I used this. Actually, that's a lie. I used this in a look in December. So it's been 6 months since I've used this. It needs to come out. It needs to say hello. It needs to have a play. But I'm really excited. This isn't a palette that screams my name, but I just think that in conjunction with these remaining shades, this palette is going to be absolutely amazing, and it's just going to work with this palette instead of my singles palette that kind of works against this palette. I want this to be done. If I get into December and this still is not done, I'm going to be so gutted. And I just think we're 6 months into the year now, and I just don't see 6 months of progress in this. I've only finished 1 extra shade in this year. That's not good enough. And I'm just ready to really hyper focus, and I think this is going to give me that little push that I need to get this done. And then next month, who knows, maybe I'll have Bon Fresco finished, maybe I'll roll in like a super warm tone companion palette just to help with Red Ochre and Realgar, really get them done. I think this is the best way going forward. I don't know, what do you think? Do you think I've made the right decision, or are you really, really gutted that that palette is leaving? I don't know, I think it's been a really hard decision. I haven't wanted to because I feel like it's like giving up, you know? I feel like it's abandoning something, but for Modern Renaissance, that is my absolute #1 focus. And I just feel like it needs to happen for Modern Renaissance to be out. So I hope you understand my reasonings. I hope you're happy. I hope you accept it. I'm so sorry. But it's just something that needs to be done. And I actually feel like it's the best decision. So what do you think of my progress this month? I'm so excited to be going in to the next month with just 1 Pan That palette. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? I should have just done that from day one. But hey, I'm an overachiever. I feel like I have to do the absolute most. But you know what? I'm pulling back now. And that means that Modern Renaissance will definitely be done by the end of the year. What is your Pan That palette? Have you made amazing progress? Let us all know down below. But this is where I'm going to love you and leave you today, guys. I hope you had an incredible day. And I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye-bye.